everybody. So for this video, I'm going to be going over 7 powerful steps to take back your power and be true to yourself again. This one I believe is very important just because of the fact that oftentimes we can get so wrapped up in our responsibilities, in the people in our lives, in certain mindsets that no longer serve us, and those can oftentimes kind of take you away from yourself. And I'm going to be doing this one a little bit differently. I'm going to be painting my nails while we talk. And I want to thank you all for always being really supportive with these videos and for making this a safe space to talk about mental health, because in reality, as it is, I know I'm the one making the videos and putting the material together, but I am also on the same path with you all. I'm also trying to find ways to become better versions of myself each and every day and through every milestone and unlearn things. So I really appreciate you all for being here alongside me. And I like to consider you all my friends. So it's like I'm painting my nails with you, we're hanging out. So let's go ahead and get started. But oftentimes there's so many things that we respond to automatically. There's a lot of things that we just say yes to when we would much rather say no. We may act in ways that are not congruent with our own truth just so we can get love, validation, or approval in any realm of life. Essentially, I am making this because I have been there. So I know it may seem like you click this video and you're like, damn, like, am I the only one who's doing this? No, like, I made a lot of these, considering some things that I have automatically gotten stuck in and a lot of things that I've overextended myself with. So I've been there. You're not alone. You're not the only one who thinks that you're stuck on this boat. First one out of the 7 is saying no when no is needed, and to say it with conviction, because the majority of people don't realize how dangerous it is to constantly be a yes man, right? If you've ever seen that movie, saying yes to every single thing in the expense of your own well-being, of your own sanity, of your feelings, of your thoughts. And it's all rooted in people pleasing. And let me tell you, this is something I'm still working on, because I tend to fall into those patterns of people pleasing and overextending myself and having to feel like I have to be expendable with so many things. And it sucks because it realistically is a way that you're betraying your true self, because I mean, while not everything you say yes to is necessarily harmful and detrimental, but the fact that you're saying yes to things that you know in your heart and in your intuition you want to say no to, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when it goes against your own will. And when you need to say it with conviction, say it with affirmation to yourself, because not only will you take your power back by doing that, but you will also reclaim your whole right to life, to happiness, and to love. The second one, and this is another big one that I'm like, ugh, you know what I mean, is to stop playing the savior mode game. And not necessarily in the sense where you save people out of trouble or you save people, or you're there to support or help people through a tough time. This one is a big one for me as well, so let me share a little bit of it just in case if you can relate. So essentially, if I see someone going through something, especially if it's someone I really care about and I really love, I cannot stand to see someone going through pain or despair. So I immediately feel like I have to jump in and go into savior mode and feel like I wish I could take away this suffering from the person. It's in excess becomes something that will just deplete you so much. There's a saying that says, do not set yourself on fire to keep other people warm, right? And it goes so well with this, because while you can be there, you can be helpful, you can be supportive, you can be acknowledging, you can create a safe space, that's really good. But it gets really bad when you feel like you have to jump into savior mode and you have to fix everything for that person. You have to be everything for that person or people or areas of your life. And that shit's heavy. Like, that shit can get really heavy. That shit can leave you burnt out. There have been times where you supported somebody who has been equally supportive in your life or has shown up in whatever way that they can, right? In their capacity. Because we can't always expect everything to be returned. We just know that people will show up at their capacity. How many times have you actually done that? And you literally are left kind of like, you look around a little bit and you're like, where the heck is the support when I'm burnt out, or when I'm exhausted, or when I am overextended, or when I have just really been basically bending over backwards? So you stop and you look around and you're like, wow, like, you feel so lonely, you feel so alone, you feel so isolated. Even you can be supportive, and you can be supportive in a way that will help this person or this individual be on their own path and have that guidance on their own path without putting it all on you. Or actually, in this case too, it's all about accountability, about you also putting it all onto yourself and just assuming this whole role and not realizing that sometimes showing up is enough. And it allows this person or these people to be able to find that volition and that conviction within themselves. Taking back your power by distancing yourself from toxic people. Now, there can be people out there that have a lot of toxicity in your life, and you'll notice it because of your reactions, because of how they make you feel after an interaction. And it is important to do this, depending on how intense it is. It can range from you having to cut some people off from your life who genuinely deplete you and who add toxicity into your life and your well-being and who do not really feel supportive in your journey, right? It can be from limiting your exposure to them, or if it's an individual who you cannot necessarily cut off, it can be in a way of setting boundaries that can allow you to be able to, replenish, to be able to live your life authentically. That is a way that you can distance yourself from toxic people. So the distance can be literal, or the distance can also be metaphorical and psychological, if that makes sense. The fourth one will be taking back your power by letting go of blame. So this one kind of snowballs onto the previous one in an essence where you are letting go of blame. While there are many things that have happened in your past, if anybody who has ever wronged you or anything that has ever stirred up negative or toxic emotions, right? So it can snowball onto that. While there are many occasions that have caused that, there are people that are, like, to be really blunt, there are assholes out there in this life, right? And they do some pretty fucked up stuff. And it's important to know that it's not necessarily the thing that has to hold you back, if that makes sense. While you do see a cause and effect situation there and a clear connection there that's cause and effect, it is important to know that you can let go of that blame. And here's what I mean by that. It's not saying that people aren't accountable for what they have done to you, but it's in saying that you are stronger than the effects of these things. Because when you blame something outside of yourself, you are making yourself, without knowing, feel powerless to this thing because that thing caused this. When you let go of the blame, you are no longer seeing it as a cause. You are seeing yourself holding the pen for the rest of the story. You are seeing yourself taking back your power, and you're not weak. Even if people have hurt you, even if people have done messed up stuff to you, you are not weak for going through that. And you are stronger than constantly ruminating in this, because you're putting yourself through that event or occurrence multiple times if you're constantly in that cycle of blame, or if you're constantly in that cycle of kind of beating yourself up. You're joining the person who hurts you side if you're constantly putting that into your head, into your safe space in this whole world. Number 5 to take your power back is to trust yourself. I know it may not be easy because, let me put in terms, and it's happened to me too. Let's say you were going into a situation with hopefulness, you were going into it with curiosity, and you were going into it with optimism, and it didn't turn out the way you expected it to. It did not have the outcome that you were hoping for, right? And you feel hurt, like you should have prevented it, like you should have known, could have, would have, should have. Because realistically, you do trust yourself, right? But at the same time, you may feel like you can't trust yourself anymore. You can't trust your choices anymore because this happened. But the thing is, that is out of your control. Honestly, you need to constantly trust yourself. So sometimes, and this will kind of trail back onto the one we were talking about with people pleasing, perhaps you feel it in your intuition to do a certain decision, but then you go against it because you want to people please, or you go against it because you don't want to feel bad, or you go against it because of guilt or anything, but it isn't aligned with who you truly are. That is when it messes up. You get me? So you did trust yourself, but rather than trusting yourself to do what was true to you, you ended up going off of another path or another direction or another pull or tug that was getting at you. So instead, relearn how to trust yourself again and to stick to your truth, to stick to your values, to stick to your principles. You didn't get hurt because you made a decision and you trusted yourself and you're like, oh my goodness, I trusted myself. Why did I make this? No. You went against your true self, and that's how that happened. Number 6 would be to have the courage to walk alone. Now, this one can be very, very daunting, and this is another reason why sometimes some people fall into people pleasing, because they don't want to be abandoned, or they don't want to be left alone, or they don't want to be neglected, or they don't want to be rejected, right? It all goes back to that one about validation and about approval, right? And those are very, very valid needs. They are. Don't get me wrong, because we're human beings, we're social creatures, we crave connection. We do. But when it comes down to it, to be your true self, let's say if you implement these things and you really are stepping back into your power and you're learning how to be authentic with yourself and you are unlearning some things that you may have had as not necessarily strategies, but kind of automatic responses or even trauma responses. It is important to make sure that in the process of becoming your true self, especially if you're having to do this, especially if you click this video because you are tired of being walked all over or being taken advantage of by other people, or you're tired of feeling like you don't have a voice or like you're losing yourself, right? Odds are you feel one of those things if you are watching this. So remember, you are feeling this way, and it is as a result about a lot of the things that haven't been serving your true self. So whenever it comes to having the courage to walk alone, you are gonna lose some people in the path. You are gonna have some people who are not gonna like it. You're gonna have some people who got used to taking for granted, who got used to abusing your kindness, who got used to putting it all on you, or got used to you carrying all the weight with everything. You're gonna have some people who aren't gonna like that because it was so convenient for them to go through you overextending yourself this way. Or you're gonna have a lot of people who are gonna be like, what, why not? And then you're not gonna give into, oh my goodness, no, never mind, I should do this. No, you're gonna have to stand for yourself and know that you're worthy of standing for yourself. You look at me, like, you are worthy of standing up for yourself. You're worthy of being put not in the back burner anymore. You're worthy of stepping out of that spot. So you are gonna have people who are not gonna like it. You're gonna have people who are gonna resist it. You're gonna have people who are gonna walk away. But that is also going to make room for people who will truly respect you, people who will truly understand you, and people who will walk this path with you and ensure that they are on their path, and they don't make you feel like if you're wholly responsible for it, or they won't make you feel like you're doing something wrong if you think for yourself, or if you are honest with yourself and you're honest with everybody else. And sometimes when you're surrounded by individuals who only like you or want to be around you, when you have to mold yourself only for their needs, and there's never any sort of consideration of how it makes you feel or any consideration of what it is that you have as an individual, you are reinventing yourself, and you are able to know that you're making room for that growth in this path. And last but not least, you reclaim your power at the end of it all. You reclaim your power by doing things that you once loved to do that you have suppressed. You do it by saying no to things that you want to say no to, by no longer thinking of yourself as small, by no longer thinking of yourself as weak, as powerless in this whole situation of life. You reclaim your power by starting to see yourself as this beautiful, strong, bold, and courageous being that you were created to be. You hold that pen in your whole path and in your whole story, that realizing that this life is yours to live and your power is yours to keep. You know what I mean? Why are you going to go off living on someone else's expectations? Like, it is your life at the end of it all. Don't you want to live it? It's something that no one else can take away from you. It's your free will. It is your own volition. It's your character. It's part of your personal development. It's part of your personal growth. And as I say things in here, I do see myself reflecting upon some things in my own life. It's always making sure that you make that promise to yourself to be genuine and to be authentic and to know that your voice matters, what you think matters. Who you are matters, and you deserve to occupy space. You deserve to have a safe space. You deserve to feel free and liberated and surrounded by people who accept you for who you are, who not only accept it but embrace it, and who celebrate it, and who are on their own path, you know what I mean? And they're growing with you every step of the way. And as you apply these into your life, you may outgrow some people too. And just know that it's going to be okay, because you're being authentic to yourself. You're no longer living a sort of simulation or a character that somebody else created about you, or a whole group of people have created about you, or an environment has created about you. So with that said, we're done. And thank you for spending time with me. I always have a blast making these and talking, because I feel like I'm talking with people who understand, and I hope that I make you feel like you're understood and you're seen, because you are. Wherever you are in your life, whatever it is that you clicked on this for, know that you're not alone. I see you, I support you, and you got this. Even if it may be tough, even if it may feel weird at first because it's not something you're used to, you do got this. So with that said, thank you for watching this video. I'll leave you with the question: what about you can you do to take your power back? If you want to comment it below, feel free to, or just ponder upon it. Just carry it around with you and see where it takes you. I hope you have a great mental health day.